However, let's go. Sukkah, Daf, Chav, Gimel. Chav, Gimel, Amid Aleph. We're only in the very bottom. And yesterday, 2 lines into the wide lines, we asked a shayla, which was more in all the cases of the animal being the wall. We asked, what happened to the space between the legs of the animal? There's space, and that space is a big hole in the wall of your sukkah, so that space should be an issue. Answered the Gemarah, Da'avid le behutza v'dafna. You take twigs, you take leaves, you put it between the legs, you tie it up, and you create your wall. Ask the Gemarah v'dilma rava. Maybe it's going to crouch down. If it's going to crouch down, you're not going to have your 10 tefach wall of your sukkah. Answered the Gemarah, Timaticha, that you pull it taut, tight, be'ashli, with ropes, mila'el, from the top. So the animal's being suspended, so it can't fall down, even in all scenarios. That's where we finished yesterday. For there we pick up, ask the Gemarah 2 lines from the bottom. Ulaman da'amar gezira shema tamos. According to the man da'amar, that said, what's the concern? The concern is the animal might drop dead. Nami hameticha ba'ashli mila'el. If the animal is being suspended and pulled up from these ropes, who cares if it dies? Let the animal die. What's going to happen? It's going to fall. No, it won't. Why not? Because the ropes are pulling it up. So if the ropes are pulling the animal up, what's the difference if the animal is going to die? Just to remind ourselves, this was a machlekes Abaya and Rav Zira in the position of Rameir. Why Rameir said an animal can't be a wall. Abaya said it might die. Rav Zira said, it might run away. So now asks the Gemarah, this is the first shayla we learned of the day, that if the animal is tied up from these strings, so who cares if it dies? It's still going to be suspended. It's still going to be there. Answers the Gemarah. Last line, Chav Gimel Amid Aleph. Zimnim, at times. Dimukim, that you place, bipachais, in less than, mishloisha, 3 tfachim, samoch lischach. Where are our picture books? Ari, right behind you, please. Thank you. That you sometimes you place the animal within 3 tfachim of the schach. What's going on over here is your sukkah is exactly 10 tfachim tall. And there is no picture. There's no picture. Well, I guess this could be the picture. Let's just, this picture over here, the top over here. Right over here, if you look at this beautiful cow, this wonderful cow is filling up almost the whole wall. So if this wall of the sukkah was 10 tfachim, okay, the animal has a space between its legs, which we took care of. How do we take care of? By putting in those twigs and whatnot. Okay, very good. What about the space between the back of the animal and the schach? The answer is, it's within 3 tfachim of the schach, and therefore what? What is it? Therefore, love it. Very good. Anything less than 3 tfachim, halachically is closed up. So it's less than 3 tfachim. As you look at this picture, let's play out the case. Betsy over here, the beautiful cow, drops dead. What happens when Betsy drops dead? The Gemarah just said, you know what happens? Nothing. Why nothing? Because it's tied up by these ropes. Good? Good. But now, so Betsy is sitting here, tied up by these ropes, drops dead. So now seemingly nothing happens. But now we have to go very nitty gritty. If the whole wall is 10 tfachim, the cow is within 3 tfachim of the roof, so Lavid closes it up. What that means is if the cow drops down one drop, one little bit, what's going to happen? It's going to be more than 3 tfachim, and you're going to lose your wall. When an animal dies, the mitzias, the practicalities are, it shrivels up a little bit. There's no more life in it. So the animal's going to shrivel a little bit. When the animal shrivels a little bit, this area between the back of Betsy and the schach is no longer going to be less than 3 tfachim. It's going to be more than 3 tfachim, and thereby you lost your lavud. Let's read it inside. Says the Gemarah, Zimnin demukim bepachos mishleisha samach l'schach. You place the animal within 3 tfachim near the schach. V'kivan, as we turn over to Chav Gimel Amud Beis. As you can see, this is a pretty heavy Amud, but don't get nervous. The simple Gemarah is not that crazy. V'kivan demaisa, and since it dies, kavsa. Kavsa is a hard word. So the word, which we'll translate in a moment, but if you didn't know and you peek at Rashi on the top line, the first word of Rashi says mitma'etes, which means mitma'it. It minimizes, it shrinks. Kavsa means it shrinks. Kivan de maivsa, since it dies, kavsa, it shrinks slightly. Velav adaite, and you're not going to know about it. It's not going to be on your das. And what's going to be the problem? That hole between the back of the animal and the schach is now going to be a drop more than 3 tfachim, and therefore you don't have lavud, and therefore you don't have a wall. So let's play this out one more time. We have our beautiful cow. Yeah. Let's play it out right now. Here, there we go. Let's just put up the picture.
It shrinks below the 3 tvachim. You don't love it anymore, and
that's it.
It's no good.
And therefore, you lost your whole wall.
Good.
So they were playing a game of inches, literally. You have a cow. How is this cow a wall? Because it's sitting there. There's a big space between the back and the roof. Love it. There's a space between the legs. You stick it up with all those beautiful branches, as you see in the picture. Answers the Gemarah. Who cares if it dies? When it dies, it shrinks a drop. It falls a dot below 3, and you lose your lavud. Beautiful end of story. That's really the end of this part of the machlekes. Now we go global. Now we zoom out, and we try to figure out what is going on with Abaya. Abaya explained Rameir. Who is Abaya? We had a machlekes, as we keep reminding ourselves in Amud Aleph. We had a machlekes Abaya and Rav Zera. Why Rameir says an animal can't be a wall. That's Rameir. So what did Abaya say? Abaya said, which was the first opinion, is Dilma. What did Abaya say? No. Shema Tamas. Very good. Abaya is about 8 lines from the wide lines. First word in the line is Nashim. Abaya Amar Shema Tamas. So Abaya explains Rav Meir that the animal cannot be your wall of your sukkah. Why not? Shema Tamas. Let's remind ourselves. What did Rabbi Yehuda hold? Rabbi Yehuda held the animals allowed to be part of your sukkah. So we have to get the names straight, and then the rest will go easy. We had a machlekes, Rav Meir and Rabbi Yehuda, can an animal be a wall? Rabbi Yehuda said yes, Rav Meir said no. Why did Rav Meir say no? Says Abaye, because the animal might die. Asks the Gemarah, Chav Gimel Amud Beis, the top line. Umi Amar Abaya. Does Abaya say that Rameir is chayish lemisa, that Rameir is concerned about death? The Rav Yehuda loy chayish, and Rav Yehuda is not concerned. The way that Abaya just explained Shitas Rameir, it comes out that what is the debate if the animal can be the wall of the sukkah? What is the debate between Rameir and Rav Yehuda? Whether the animal were concerned it's going to die. So many people brought up, what's this concern? This is so strange. We just think that things die. So yesterday we already pointed out a little bit, the debate is if Misa's shchichi or not. But now we're going to go a little bit deeper into that. Does Rabbayo really hold that Rameir holds? We are concerned for death, so the sukkah is pasul. Rav Yehuda holds we're not concerned for death, so the sukkah is kosher. V'hatinan. But we learned in a Mishnah. Now this, the heads up, is this question is going to be a long and lengthy one with multiple parts. We're going to take part A, but it's beautiful because part A is isolated. So let's see. V'hatinan. Bas Yisrael. A wonderful Jewish girl who is a Yisrael, meaning not a Bas Kohen. Her father is not a Kohen or a Levi. She's a good old-fashioned Yisraelis, good old-fashioned Jew. And she marries Shenises L'Koyin. So when she marries a Koyin, what's the halacha? She's allowed to eat whatever the Koyin can eat. Beautiful. V'holach Baila L'Medina Sayam. And her husband goes on vacation, on a business trip. Medina Sayam, literally to Medina overseas. So she's left at home. What does she eat at home? Says the Mishnah, Oicheles b'truma. She's allowed to eat truma. But 1 second. 1 week passes, a month passes, maybe a year passes. Do we have any clue where her husband is? No, there's no phones, there's no communication. She has no clue. Maybe he died at Sirach Manal. We have no clue. But she's allowed to keep on eating truma. Why? Bechezkas shehu kayim. There's a chazaka, there's an assumption that the husband is alive. Once in motion, stays in motion. Chazaka says, whatever we know to be true continues. So we know the husband was alive, we assume he is alive. So says the Mishnah A. Mishnah A says, a Bas Yisrael is allowed to keep on eating truma ad infinitum. Why? We assume the husband is alive. Beautiful. Excellent. Let's continue. We're going to go a job further. Well, so far we learned nothing. We have to get there. So far it's a Mishnah. Let's get there. It's Mishnah A. Now we're going to get to Mishnah B. Mishnah B. I know it's 8:12, and the schus that someone shows up here for Ma'ariv. Let's learn an extra minute and a half. V'ramina na'ala. And no one on Zoom, you're not potter. We might have to come and pick you up. V'ramina na'ala. And we asked a raminan, is a stira. We asked a contradiction. So Mishnah A says the girl is allowed to keep on eating truma, assuming her father is alive. Her husband, is alive. Mishnah B, if a husband tells his wife, Harei zagiteich, here is your get, Shah achas koidem misasi. Husband knows he has an evil brother, and he doesn't want his wife to go to Yibam, or whatever the reason is. Let's not get caught up in the details. He gives her a get. He says to her, we're going to be married literally until death do us part. The moment before I die, boom, this get kicks in. So what happens? She's a married woman until he dies. The moment before he dies, then she's divorced. If this man is a kohen, should she be allowed to eat truma? So based on what we just said a second ago, when he went overseas, what do we say? She's allowed to keep on eating truma. Once in motion, continues in motion. Whatever we know continues. So just like we assume the husband to be alive, so too over here, he gives her a get. You're married to me till the moment before I die. Do we assume he dies? No! Yet, what does the Mishnah say? Asura le'echol b'truma miyad. Right now, she can't eat truma. One second, let's explain. What?
I was going to say, if a Kayan dies,
good.
She's not allowed to eat truma.
Good.
What's the difference?
Good. That's the stira. We have two Mishnayos. Mishnah A says, husband goes overseas, wife continues eating truma, we assume he's alive. Mishnah B says, husband gives wife get, and the get goes into effect the moment before I die. Right now, he can't eat truma. Why not? Because we have to be worried that right now might be the moment before he dies. Meaning, we're worried that he's going to die in one moment. Meaning, we're chayshish for Misa. We're concerned that the husband's going to die. So one Mishnah says, do we concern the husband dies? No. The second Mishnah, do we concern the husband dies? Yes. Stira in Mishnayis. Comes along Abaya, ve'omar Abaya, and says Abaya loy kasha. Not shver. Ha Rabbi Meir. Are you bar mitzvah? Do you want to be bar mitzvah? Yes. Okay, make him bar mitzvah. Ha Rabbi Meir. Deloi chayish lamisa. Says Abaya, one Mishnah is Rameir, who is not chayshesh for misa. Ha Rabbi Yehuda. De chayish lamisa. Stira Mishnayis. No stira, no contradiction. Two different opinions. One's Rameir, one's Rabbi Yehuda. What's the question? What did Abaya say in our Gemarah as we flip back? Very good. We flip back to Chav Gimel and Aleph. What is Rav Meir's opinion? That the sukkah is pasul. Why is a sukkah pasul? Because Shema Tar, most animals gonna die. So Abaya learned in the sheet of Rav Meir, we're worried the animal's gonna die. And here Abaya says, what does Rav Meir hold? Loi chayish lamisa. Kasha on Abaya. It's not a kasha on Rav Meir, because we don't know what Rav Meir holds. The way that Abaya explained Rav Meir, we have one big fat contradiction within Abaya. How do we get there? Because we had a contradiction in Mishnayis. Abaya answered this contradiction saying one's Rav Meir, one's Rav Yehuda. Now we have a big problem in Abaya, and we're going to pick it up from here. Baruch Hashem, Schus HaTorah, we have 7. Siyata Dishmaya, 3 are on their way. Let's do some Chazara. Chavral and Zoom, learn for us that we get a minion.